Hey, what's up? Hello, welcome to the Gaming Saucecast. It's episode 3. I'm your host, Kendrick Lukenbach. Joining me today is Todd Buffalina,
Hello, hello.
Jaeger Mitchell,
Hey, what's up, guys?
and our editor-in-chief has welcomed us with his presence, Lazar Odick.
Banana hammock.
All right, and we will see if David Ackerman joins us later. So, we're going to talk about what we're playing. Lazar, why don't you get us started?
Well, my most of my time right now has been taken up by Disney Infinity 3.0, which I didn't have it at all on my radar. It was a game I've known about, never really thought anything about it, but for some reason, as soon as I saw the Star Wars bundle and held it in my hands, I just had the urge to buy it. I did. Don't regret it one bit. It is a hell of a lot of fun. The characters look super detailed now. And it's just a blast, really. Other than that, I haven't been playing anything except Disney. Oh, no, I'm lying. Until Dawn, which is another fantastic game that hopefully you'll read about my opinion soon, because I'm lazy and have to work a real job. But yeah.
Have you played Until Dawn at all yet?
Oh, I've beaten it twice.
Oh, wow. Were you having a review of it?
Yeah, I'm running a review. I wanted to get it out, like, soonish, but I took, like, extra shifts at work, and then I come home and I'm tired and sleepy, and then I play Disney Infinity, and then it's like 4 a.m., and then I'm like, oh no, and then, yeah, but that game is... Okay, the only preview I'll give you for Until Dawn is it currently stands as my game of the year.
Yeah.
You got a lot coming now.
Yeah, that's a bold statement.
It's August. I mean, okay, it's September. I'm sure that probably won't last, but as of today, Until Dawn is currently sitting as my game of the year.
Fair enough.
2015.
And people are screaming at their iPods right now saying, MGS5! MGS5!
But yeah, that's Disney's my life now. All hail Star Wars. Kyle Ren. Rock on.
Well, they did it, huh? It worked. They finally raffled everyone that didn't want original Disney, didn't want Marvel, bring you back with Star Wars.
Yep, it's kind of impressive.
Do you feel the need to go back and get any play sets from 2 and 1?
No.
You feel like 3 is good enough?
I'm not a big Marvel guy, and 2.0 was all about Marvel. I want a couple figures, like the Venom one looks really good, and Iron Man, just because I like Iron Man. But other than that, I'm more pumped for the 3.0 figures, because there's another wave of Star Wars ones, and there's some other, like the Inside Out one is also out. I haven't bought that one, but like I really want to play the Inside Out level. And then I already got the playset that comes out at the end of this month early because I got the like big box collector's edition for 3.0. So I'm just in a total Disney like craze right now with Star Wars.
Yeah, and I'm
Force Friday's tomorrow, so I'm spending like $100 on action figures that I don't need or want, but I need. Somehow, my body wants them.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts once you dive into toy box mode. How that affects like buying like old action figures? Because if it's like, would it be like with that mode, characters you play as from the old games make that mode like grow more? If you know anything.
I've heard that the more characters you have linked to your base or like in the game, the more experience points you earn per character. And the one thing that I don't really like about Disney Infinity is certain figures serve no purpose except to be played in the toy box mode. Like they're not tied to any sort of level. And I'd kind of prefer even if they had some small like hour or like 2-hour level tied to that character instead of just kind of being like, oh, it's a Disney property, have fun. Like Mulan, which is like one of my favorite Disney films. She's a character that's exclusive to Best Buy right now, and like the only place you can play her in is Toy Box. That's it, and it's like if you really want to play as Milan, yeah, but it's like there's no real reason to buy her unless you're really into like that figure. So, because the playsets are really well done, like really well done. So,
So yeah, I guess that was my question. Really, is that in the creative mode, I think of it like Minecraft. How Minecraft has like 1,000 skins, but like it's cosmetic. Like
yeah, in a
according
way,
to cosmetic, the cooler ones to get are the ones they've built levels for
yeah,
the playsets for them to play in.
yeah. No, that's a perfect way to look at it. Except Minecraft is poopy, and I don't like it.
Shout out to Minecraft, one of the greatest games ever made. All right, and shout out to the Chargers. Just got a pick six. I'm just gonna throw that out there. It's pretty awesome. Got
Yeah,
a
nothing like that riveting week 4 of preseason.
Let's see, Todd.
Sir.
Your tales of Witcher 3.
Well, I haven't really been playing all that much because.
You're fired.
Heresy.
Yeah, hold on.
Playthrough 2, guys. It's as good as playthrough 1.
Because my wife got bit by the gaming bug, so she's been playing a lot, and it's actually been fun watching her. Because you guys probably remember this as much as I do, but watching her be excited about gaming is bringing me back to when I first picked up my first NES controller, and watching her just enjoy the hell out of it has been entertaining very, very much for me. So, and she's happy that every time she gets an achievement, she does a little happy dance, which is hilarious to watch. Watching her finish a quest, it's just been a blast and a joy to watch. And then I kind of jumped into Shadow of Mordor again a little bit over the weekend, and that's always fun, just killing orcs and watching cutting heads off and being all graphic and stuff. So, yeah, that's about what I've been up to these days. How about you, Jaeger? What are you playing?
I played the Forza Motorsport 6 demo, and I also played some Rock Band World Tour, Guitar Hero World Tour rather, because I was getting that Rock Band bug, and
Hell
it was not coming
yeah.
out for a while, so I was like, I gotta play something, and I had sold my 360, so I was like, is there anything for the PC? Turns out there's a really crappy port of Hero World Tour that I got running on my PC, and the only instrument I can attach to it is, well, actually, I can attach my mic and my drums, but really, mic, no thanks. But my guitar is wireless, so I couldn't attach to that. But I've been having a ton of fun with that. It's amazing. I just love music games, and I can't wait for Rock Band 4.
Fuck yeah. You get a promotion.
You can have my job, apparently. See how I
Yeah. Go back to Witcher.
Okay, I have no problem with that. I'm sorry.
What did you think of Forza 6, Jaeger? Because when I played it, I thought it was to me it was Forza 5. It looks better. They built off what they have, and then the rain makes it diverse enough to where it's really cool. So as a racing game fan, what appeals to you about it?
I mean everything. It's really exactly what I wanted from Forza 5. Forza 5 was so lacking in its breadth of content. It brought in a lot of cool features, but overall, I mean, it just didn't have enough to keep you playing. Drivatars were not enough by themselves, and I think it had 10 tracks. That's not enough to keep you playing for any more than a couple weeks.
Oh, don't forget those hot microtransactions.
I never ran into those myself, but yeah, I mean, it didn't even have any DLC or add-ons or anything. They just kind of let it go. I mean, it had car packs, but I was expecting tracks or something, and it looks like they really put all their work into Forza 6, and the replayability afforded by like rain and night is going to be spectacular because each track is going to have all these different scenarios and setups that you can play through on 450 plus cars, and you can master every puddle, you can master every hill. It's just going to be amazing. Like the replayability of that game, and I think they brought in 24 player multiplayer. I don't even know if I want to do that. That sounds like a cluster, but I mean, if they're comfortable with it, because Turn 10 is like a really detail driven studio, and if it sucks and it's just like absolutely unplayable, I'm sure they wouldn't have kept it. So I look forward to trying that out as well.
I've heard that puddles are your worst enemy.
They can be,
They're
but
your greatest friend too, though.
yeah, exactly. Like there are a lot of times where I would just like smack an opponent over to the side and he'd go flailing off the track. It's amazing. Like
So wait,
and
does the demo have multiplayer?
no, it's just playing against Drivatars
Oh, okay.
loaded up from past games. And
Your Avatar was a dick to me. He tried to rear-end me when he was trying to draft my tail.
oh yeah, like I was watching an IGN plays on Forza 1, and they showed the Drivatars were actually a feature in the original Forza. I had no idea. Like it was something that you could load up onto a flash drive and bring to somebody's house, and it would like you could load up 1v1, and they would race your Drivatar. I thought that was incredible.
I heard about that when someone did a story 2 years ago about how a kid found an original Xbox One memory card in his dad's garage because his dad had just passed away.
Yeah.
And it was his dad's ghost from Forza 1, so he got to race against his dad's ghost.
Yeah. When I had read that story, I thought they were just talking about like time trials though, and then it come to find out it was actually like a real.
Yeah.
Learned
He
his
raced against it all the time as he was playing the game.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So someone who is not, let's see, in my case, the last racing game I played was F-Zero on the SNES. So if I haven't played a racing game in a while, would you say
No.
jump into this one?
No.
Don't do that to myself.
No.
Forza Horizon 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
That or the new Need for Speed.
Yeah, load up something else. If you need to get into racing games, Forza Motorsport 6 is not your beginning.
You definitely want to go with something more arcade-y if you haven't played in a long time.
Okay. Makes sense.
Between those two games, it's in Forza Horizon.
You know what? Just wait until the Witcher racing game. And, like
Carriage racing.
yeah, like horse carts,
Yeah.
and it's like
Don't be a
Road Rash plus Witcher.
It's like Jack X Racing, but with Geralt.
There you go.
Well,
And
two
then
things. One,
When you're
Lazar.
Geralt, romance Triss and Yennefer and your tire.
Yeah, never.
So okay, two things. One, Lazar, don't be a hater because you suck at third-person RPGs.
Sir, fair point.
And
Actually-
Kendrick, if you're gonna flip shit, pronounce his name properly, young man. Not Geralt. It's Geralt. Get it right, damn it.
Geralt of Riviera.
Gerald? His name is Gerald.
Okay, now I tender my resignation because you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about.
He's Gerald. He's Arnold's best friend from Hey Arnold.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, all
Geralt
right.
of Rivia, snapping the finger.
Honey, they're making fun of us. I'm gonna get my wife over here. She's gonna kick all your asses.
But yeah, no. If you were gonna start with a racing game, I would say look at, do you want a street racer like Need for Speed that has cool customization to it? Forza Horizon 2 is open world racer. The races are really diverse, environment's really diverse, and I think Forza Horizon 2 is going to have more cars than Need for Speed will. So definitely a lot more diversity in that department too. And then the Storm Island DLC that came out with Horizon 2 completely changes the games. If you're into rally racing, like I'm really into like Dubai rally races, like those long rally races they do in the desert, I think those are really cool. And probably Storm Island's the closest you get to that in a video game. Rather than like, since like probably like Smuggler's Run on the PS2 was like the closest thing to that I could think of. But yeah, if you were going to start out with two racing games, I would definitely start there. If you wanted a really open world game where to just drive America, you could get The Crew for like $10 in an Amazon garbage pile. So roll there
The game
too.
really was not that bad. I like that game a lot.
Yeah, but see, okay, so here's the thing. From what I hear, I never played it, but you still had to climb towers to open up the world.
You don't climb towers, but you do have to drive up to like a hidden tower, and your
Yeah.
radar like will blip when you're close to one,
They're
and then
like
you drive
cell
up
phone
to
towers.
it, and then it would like show more of the world. But
Okay,
you can just drive, which is way more fun.
Okay, Ubisoft needs
Where you drove all the way in a circle to the top of the tower, then you hit a button at the top like R2-D2.
Yeah, you get a trophy if you drive from the east coast to the west coast in like one run. Takes about like 50 minutes.
No, I'm
Yeah.
okay. Ubisoft needs to change their open world template for me to consider it again. I'm sorry. When they're putting it into a driving game, it's time for them to rethink how they're producing stuff.
And then for Crew fans, I think on the same day that Battlefront comes out, the Crew gets an expansion where they're basically gonna re-change the engine for that game, and then put in like a lot of like desert rally vehicles and stuff, trying to appeal to people in that way. But like from the gameplay footage I've seen from that, it's a completely new engine that they're gonna change that game with. They're gonna reskin that game straight up like an MMO, which is what the Crew kind of is. It's a racing MMO.
Yeah, and weren't you supposed to be able to design cars to be able to like take a Corvette and put big ass knobby tires on it and race it through the desert and stuff? Am I mistaken about that?
Yeah, you were, but the options weren't really there for that. That was literally what it was. It was you could take a Corvette and then make it like a put desert tires on it. Like here, that's how you handle.
Okay, quality.
Yes. Well, speaking of really greedy companies and their racing games, EA, I think it was 2013, they showed off that Criterion game, and we haven't seen any of it since. It was going to be like a skiing and snowboarding and like motorcycles.
Sports game. It was like you're driving a motorcycle down a hill,
and then you like jump up into a helicopter. Yeah.
pull out a hang glider, you get in the helicopter blows up, you jump on a jet, and you kill a dolphin.
Yeah.
Like, they're making Just Cause 3.
Yeah, that looked incredible, and we still haven't seen anything 2 years later. I think they get scrapped.
But
like
let's be real here. The real winner of where the fuck is your game is Rockstar and Agent.
Oh gosh.
I don't even know what that game is anymore. It's just like, I swear it's people's imagination, like Last Guardian, which suddenly is a thing again.
Yeah, it was like Blizzard's Titan MMO, and then I guess it was earlier this year. They're just like, no, we're not doing that anymore.
Well, no, it's Overwatch now. So what's that? Is that
Titan turned into Overwatch.
The people from Titan moved to Overwatch, and some of them moved to WoW, but like it didn't turn into Overwatch.
I think Overwatch is like what they wanted their PvP to be, and that was going to be MOBA, but their PvE, whatever they were trying to do with it, didn't take off.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the big Sony announcement for next year. We got Agent and it's exclusive.
It's coming out in 2064.
One day we're gonna get Agent. We'll get Half-Life 3, but the internet will still have something out there that they'll be waiting for.
Yeah, they'll find something.
All right, so what I've been playing this week, I started playing Dear God, the free game on Xbox One for September. A 2D side-scroller roguelike. This is what, when I wrote the trailer for it and put it up on the site, this is what I was promised. A 2D side-scrolling roguelike where you play as a deer. You want to know what this game is? This game is a 2D side-scroller that never ends and doesn't tell you what to do. And you find items and you don't know what to do. It's like, if you played Mario and you kept finding whistles and fireballs and all that, and you didn't really need them, and you kept going to the right, and you never found the end of the level, that's what it is. Like,
that's actually a really good way of explaining it. It's like Mario and Limbo. Not Limbo the game, Limbo the theory.
Yeah, like Limbo, like you're stuck in a dimension where you can't get out of. You just keep going. Like there's random peaches there that make a baby Mario, and you can go play as the baby Mario after. Because that's a feature in this. Your checkpoints are that you find, and then you make a baby with them, and then the baby is what you get reincarnated as when you die. And then if you die as the baby, then you get reincarnated at the start of your day, but your enemies will respawn. So that's kind of the roguelike thing to it, is that when you go into an area, these difficult enemies are there. And like enemies go so far as porcupines and bugs to being Eskimo bears, and foxes and cheetahs, and then like I don't even understand like I've saved like young deer and like young doe, and then like they follow me around, but I don't know what to do with them. They don't. And then like I found a monocle for an old man in a cabin, and then when he got his monocle, he's like, "You're not a little boy. Like, what did you think I was? What did you think this was?" And he's like, "Well, since you're a sentient deer, I guess you have to go to the deer temple at the top of the mountain." I'm just like, okay. So now I'm walking to the right looking for a deer temple.
Was
Eventually,
that the blind guy?
yeah, the
Oh
blind.
man, I didn't know what happened to him. Spoiler alert. God.
I found a
Maybe
house
you're-
and he was there.
Yeah, like
Forget about Destiny. No, not Destiny. Until Dawn.
that game started like on an interesting premise. Like that intro scene is like, oh, okay, what's happening? And then I started playing. I was like, okay, what is happening?
Yep,
I
me
have
too.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I really just want to like sit down, play it for like bring myself to play it for an hour at least and see what happens. Where is it going? Because like it's $15 at retail. Like it couldn't be that long. And
Yeah.
like the way I'm thinking of it is like the days are levels. The days that roll over are when you get to the different environments. And so there's 50 days to get to for an achievement. So I want to at least get to 50 days and see what happens along the way. But like I like games like that. Like it straight up is an NES game. Like, it really is that NES game where you're like, you look at the box art and it's a deer and then it says the deer god and you're like, oh my gosh, this is an open world forest building game. And then you take it home and you're like, oh, what? Like Mario, but it's not. I like it.
That game's so weird.
And then the other free game is going to be Tomb Raider on September 16th. And so if you haven't played that and you're going to play Rise of the Tomb Raider, look forward to that one. But that's a weird one too because it's free from September 15th to October 15th. So a lot of weird things going there with the way games will. But the other game I've played, which I've been waiting to talk about until all their news was done, is Destiny. I started rolling so basically, when I started playing this game, I had a Titan, a Hunter, and a Warlock. And when I started raiding and just raiding, I didn't like getting 3 armor sets. So I deleted my Hunter and my Warlock, and I made 3 Titans. And so I rolled 3 Titans like this whole time since like January. So the way they're doing it now is they're making it easier to get armor sets because of how much more loot they're going to put in this game. They're going to put in more ways for you to get armor. You can't just get one overpowered armor set, which is the way how the game was. You had to play the Vault of Glass over and over and over and over to get your armor set. But now that they're putting in more ways to get armor, then it makes more sense to roll 3 different characters. So I'm leveling up the Hunter right now, and then when the expansion comes out, there's going to be this item it's called the Spark, but I call it the Guilty Spark. Like that's what I think of it as because it's a little electric tube. And then what it's going to do for new players, it levels you up to level 25. So you can have a character leveled up to level 25 and then jump in with your friends and start playing with them. That's the idea behind it. But what I'll do is I'll boot the Warlock, and then I'll have 3 characters to play. What they announced today is on this Tuesday, September 8th, there's going to be a 20 gigabyte update for the game. And this
Mandatory.
This is mandatory. This is 30% of the DLC because this is character updates, this is item updates, this is updates to the economy. This is all stuff that the game needs, and you need them to play this game, but you don't have to buy Taken King. These are features that you weren't going to buy Taken King for some unknown reason why you were going to play Destiny. Like, go move on to Metal Gear or something if you're not going to play Taken King, to be honest with you. But yeah, so they got that 20 gigabyte update coming out, and like you're hosed if you're on last gen. Like I feel like, because on last gen, the update for it is 16 gigabytes, and like some people on last gen apparently don't have hard drives because there's people on Reddit saying that they can't fit the update on their system. So, I don't know about that, but that's basically, I feel like with the update, they're trying to push you to next gen, which is good. If Destiny's your thing and you found out your reason to move to next gen, move to next gen.
Yeah.
In 12 days, on September 15th, the other 40 gigabytes of Taken King will download, and then you'll jump in, and your brain's going to melt because there's going to be too much to do. And then the question where it comes from in that, which is going to be the question I'm trying to answer with my review, is how long can you play this content? Which is the question I have about like the future of Destiny in general. Is how and right now it's going to be diverse for the first 2 weeks of playing the game. There's going to be too much to do. But then how diverse is that going forward? So that'll be the question to answer with Destiny's future and what I'll be trying to answer in the review. Is the content they've put out enough to keep you coming back? And that's the real thing to know. They're really smart. They're doing, like, the main raid, which is like the activity everyone wants to happen, is going to come out September 18th, which is the Friday after the game comes out. So you get some days to play through the content, level up, focus on your character, focus on learning the new classes and stuff, learning the new mechanics, and then playing the raid. So I like that a lot that they stretched it out. But everything that they said so far is answering fans' questions as far as loot goes, as far as vault space goes. There's not anything in here that they haven't addressed what someone hated about Destiny and its DLCs that they had over the past year. So I'm super excited for it. It's the game I've played most on next gen for sure. I've played it for like 740 hours now. Taken King is going to be my first Game of the Year candidate. I haven't played anything this year that is like wow to me. Like my biggest disappointment of the year is probably Arkham Knight because my brain wasn't melted with it like a week after it had like marinated through my mind. So I like it though because we get Taken King, and then it just rises from there as far as like what I'm looking to play. Because 2K comes out, that game looks unbelievable. Halo comes out, and then Fallout, and then Fallout kind of peaks right there, and then you got Battlefront, which kind of evens the peak. So I like the way that these games are going to be scaling, in my mind, at least for what I'm looking for Game of the Year. So, after all that, what are your thoughts, if you've seen anything on Destiny, what you've heard me saying about Destiny, what are your thoughts with what I've said so far?
You said you were speculating on like what's going to keep players coming back, and if this is if the content of this is enough. And I'm not going to ask you questions about like current content because obviously that will be in the article. But what do you think? Like speculating on future things to just keep people coming back. Like, do you think they're going to add like more classes, or they're just going to keep on upping the level cap?
I think right now, as far as that stuff goes, that'll be all be saved for a sequel. Like I've been pretty adamant that there shouldn't be a Destiny 2, because I think if there's a Destiny 2, they're putting more work in themselves because they have told us already that these characters are going to come through with you over the next 9 years now, since year one of Destiny's over. That in 2024, I'm going to have my Titan that I've had since the beta of Destiny. And so the level cap right now is 40. I think that'll be fine because it's kind of like a MMO system where what you're trying to level after that is your attack and your defense. You're trying to get your average to a high amount to where you can go through the content. And so that's like the carry you're chasing. You're trying to get gear to keep you leveled up. And I don't know that there's a finite number yet of what that's going to be. But then as far as more classes go, it'll be these 3. And then they hinted at some stuff in their Game Informer content they did that they had ideas for, which I think they're going to save for the sequel also. So that's that's all stuff that we'd probably see in a sequel.
Yeah.
Or whatever the next expansion is.
Gotcha.
So Kendrick, as someone who's never played Destiny and really has no real desire to play Destiny, but Bungie knows how to make a shooter. They've been doing it for a while, and this seems like over the past year they've supported the game enough to at least make the content worth checking out. Would you say now is the time, if you haven't played it, now is the time to kind of jump in and check it out?
Yeah, absolutely. And then like you get an advantage as a new player too, because the way that they've put out this content is for $60 you get the base game, you get the 2 expansions from last year, and you get Taken King. And so Taken King is $40. So for $20 you're getting 2 expansions that came out and the base game. It's a good deal for new players. And it's a good deal for players who, sold their game and they want to come back to it. Yes, now's the time to jump in because a lot of what they didn't know about this game, they know about now. Like when this game came out, they had 12 different currencies, and now they've lined it down to 4 to make it less confusing. It explains a lot better. They have an actual quest system now. So I think a lot of what would make a new player confused, they've explained about and they've ironed out. And because it's a really good deal that you're going to get, it's like when World of Warcraft came out and they came out with the battle chest they kept adding expansions to, like you had nothing to complain about with the price of WoW because they kept adding stuff into that battle chest and it was always $40.
Yep.
Okay, so another question I've got for you.
Yeah.
As a player who's been playing this game since the beta, does it piss you off that this is the game that this is what came out a year ago?
No, because what I thought this game would be is what it's evolved into, and I think that's a statement to Bungie in that what Bungie was trying to make here was a shooter that they tried to toe the line between an MMO, and they didn't really want it to be an RPG. They wanted to keep its like shooter elements, and like that was the problem with it. Was they tried to make this game look different from World of Warcraft and look different from Borderlands and look different from Diablo. And now their creative team, after seeing the fan feedback and like what we thought of this game, is how they're thinking of this game now. Their mindset for what they wanted this game to be, which is an open world space shooter, kind of like just like an open Halo, is that this game's going to be a loot-based MMORPG. I think it's a statement to them in that their mindset for developing it's evolved as the game's evolved. Because I don't really think that they know what they had with this game. I think they didn't really think they were going to be building onto it. And then a lot of systems they had were kind of like, it's kind of like the guys there where half of them were developing for an MMO and half of them were developing for a shooter, and they didn't really have a base idea. And yeah, there's rumors and stuff in the background that like the guy that was writing the story got fired because they didn't give him enough time because of the Activision contract, and so that's why the story sucks. Like I'll just say it to you, the story sucks for this game. So like the story for Borderlands sucks, and the story for Diablo 3 when it first came out sucks. Like the best story in Diablo 3 is Reaper of Souls, and the best story for Destiny is going to be Taken King. So I like that too, because like what I'm talking about with how they're reinventing this game, it's happened before. Diablo 3 did it, Blizzard did it. And one cool thing with Activision, because they own Blizzard, is that Bungie and Blizzard can talk to each other, and Bungie can bounce ideas off them to learn from them and how to evolve. So I think that's really cool too. They've talked to the guys who made WoW. They talked to the guys who made Diablo. And they've taken that information to answer fans' complaints.
I just want to take issue with one thing you said. Did you say that Diablo 3 didn't have story in like the main game?
Yeah, I thought the main 4-act story was kind of weak. And
It was definitely weak, but it definitely had more story than Destiny.
No, I agree with you on that for sure. It definitely had more story than Destiny.
Okay, so as far as Diablo goes, do people go to that game for story?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
the people who stay and keep playing Diablo aren't there for story, but the people who pick it up definitely are.
Yeah, but if you're picking up Diablo 3, you're not exactly it's like you're not going in expecting to know what the hell's going on anyway. If you've never played.
I mean, I picked it up and I hadn't played either of the other ones, and I enjoyed the story. I mean, it pretty much explained itself. So.
Yeah, and I think like the way Diablo, the way that they fixed it with Reaper of Souls, and the idea that Bungie's taken with it now, with Taken King, is that people are buying these games to play a story that keeps them going through, and then once they feel that their story is complete, then they can form their own story through the loop that they're going to grab. And that's the kind of thing that hooked you into Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 campaign was cool because Handsome Jack was threading you through. And he was a cool antagonist to get you through, but by the time you got to the end of Borderlands 2, why'd you play through 2 again? It was because there was a dope legendary gun that you were going to go get. And so that's the idea that I think Blizzard answered with Diablo, and then what Bungie's going to try to answer with this, because the story for Taken King has a cool antagonist. The characters that they have in here are acted very well. Like the main hunter guy is Nathan Fillion. No one knows that, and he's going to have 1 million lines in this. And then there's just going to be high stakes and stuff because I think they're actually going to kill off quest givers and stuff, which would be interesting. And then the environment's really cool too, and how that tells into the story. I heard today when I watched their stream from yesterday that the new environment called the Dreadnought, which is the antagonist ship, which is going to be the big new environment for this. They've taken a lot of inspiration from Shadow of Colossus and the environments in that, and how the environments of Shadow of Colossus illustrated the boss you were going to be fighting. So that's what they wanted to illustrate with the environment, is that as you go into different rooms and stuff, it illustrates the kind of enemies you're fighting Because the idea of it is that there's 4 races in the game, and he's basically taken everything that you've killed, and then he makes it into a zombie version of his own, which is a really cool thing itself because he can bring back old bosses and stuff. And that's a way for them to bring back old content and then make it new again. And so the different environments are all built in by like these zombie creatures. So as you're walking through a hallway and you start to see like old relics, you know the kind of enemy you're going to be facing. So that's a cool thing they've done with design for that.
Awesome.
I'm just gonna wait till Destiny 2.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like can you like
I can easily wait for Destiny 2.
yeah, but
There's not a single thread in my body that's like, yes, taking
Gotta
King.
hop in. Oh my god.
Like I got burnt out super quickly, and like Taken King looks awesome. It looks great. It looks like the game that should have been shipped a year ago. But I personally like won't be going back to Destiny probably until like Destiny 2 I'll get because I enjoy Destiny. I had a great time with it for the time I've played it. But Taken King is still not enough to like reel me back in and rebuy the game. But I'm sure it's going to deliver for the fans, and that's really what matters at the end of the day.
yeah, so you from like what you're saying right now, you'd rather they do a Destiny 2 rather than just expanding on the game.
Well, they're definitely going to do a Destiny 2. Expansion is a great thing to keep the game still going and showing support that like, hey, we're listening to you guys. We understand you were frustrated with A, B, and C. Here's how we plan on fixing A, B, and C. But personally, just to me, this expansion is not going to get me back into it as a player who was burnt out or just kind of got tired of Destiny. But I'm hoping that Destiny 2, whenever it's announced in 2-3 years, gets me back into the series because I want to get back into it, but I still have no real reason to.
Man, I think Destiny 2, if that was going to come out, it'd be next year.
It could. That'd be too soon. I don't think that it's a 2-year game. I know this is a 10-year cycle, which probably means I'm saying a game every 3 years. And they've said it's a trilogy, like before they even announced that it was called like Destiny. So I'm excited for more Destiny, but not Destiny that we have today.
Yeah, I think their original agreement with Activision is that they're basically going to be chained up and they're going to do game expansion. But I think as they've taken fan feedback, I think their stand on that's going to evolve too, which I think is something I've heard, is that Activision's kind of set up roadblocks. Like, they don't want to do 2 little baby DLCs and then before like a big game throughout the year. They want to do free updates, like free raids, a free 5-quest system. And then I think Activision wants to charge for that, obviously. They're trying to make money off of it. But then like they're also stopping them from the sequel idea. They like what WoW did with the expansions. They kept going with it, and they found ways to tune that engine. And I think that's what Bungie wants to do. But
I mean, World of Warcraft is an open world game, so they can just add stuff, and it's a massive place. Destiny just feels really small to me comparatively.
Yeah, I wouldn't call Destiny an MMO either.
Yeah, of course.
I think it has pieces of those games.
Yeah, it has MMO elements, but it's not a
environment.
traditionally MMO genre.
Yeah, it would be like saying Halo 5's Warzone is a MOBA. I mean, it has MOBA elements, but it's not a MOBA.
Yeah, that's more like it's just like Warzone's like just a big team battle with an objective.
Yeah, it's also like Titanfall, though, how they have AIs that you have to take care of, like a MOBA would, and they have towers and stuff that you have to take over, like a MOBA would, or destroy. So, I mean, just because a game has elements of a game type doesn't make it that game. It just has those elements.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. So, I think that's it so far on Destiny. There will definitely be more over the coming weeks as that expansion comes out. As a review comes out, I'll have a piece coming out about my first year with Destiny, one of my best stories. To preview that real quick, is when I four-manned the first raid when like 2 guys dipped off at 2 in the morning, and at 3 in the morning we four-manned it when I put the team on my back and killed them with a shotgun that had 2 shots in it. That was cool. And then when I figured out how to 2-man the second raid that came out, that was pretty cool too. And then just like memories from the beta and stuff, like my buddies that were there, my buddies who came back to play, stuff like that, little things. The story of how I found my guild and how that all worked, and what I really want to do in that piece is compliment the Destiny community, because like, wow, from like being around other communities on Reddit, like the Call of Duty community, the Halo community and stuff, which are all like really cool people, it's very close knit because of like, it's kind of like out of the trash talk and hatred that everyone formed, a little family formed of like, you know, 1 million people that were on Reddit and kept growing to it. And then like IGN's done that too with Fireteam Chat. They've made their own little family from it. So I definitely want to put a piece out there to the community also, because they're a great group of people. The Dads of Destiny is probably one of the coolest clans of any gaming I've ever found in my life.
No, yeah, I saw that like even before Destiny went live.
Yeah, and even they have had like, you know, members of their clan like pass away and stuff, and they've done ways in the game to, like for their clan when they're playing the game, to pay tribute to them, and I think that's like very cool.
That's really cool.
So they did like a raid session, and then when like they beat him, they did like a 21 gun salute with like snipers because he was gone. Because that was like the raid date he had signed up for, and so he wasn't there to play it, so they raided it, and then they did that. And like, you know, there's other stories in that for other games too, but like that was just a super cool story to see. So, moving into news, Microsoft announced a new bundle for the Xbox One, the Xbox One Elite bundle. You're priced at $500. We'll have the new Xbox One Elite controller that'll be included with it, which is like Microsoft's answer to, like, you know, I don't want to say modded controller, but like that's the only word I can think of. If you guys have a better way to say it, but
if anyone's familiar with SCUF or something like that, the SCUF controllers.
Yeah, but I don't know any way to describe those besides for a modded controller because of the paddles and the different firing modes on it. And then it also has a 1 terabyte, I'll say drive in it, but the drive is, you know, one of those speed drives that like you'd find in a Seagate or like a Western Digital, which can be cool for anyone who doesn't have an Xbox One, and or if you like were looking to get an external drive for an Xbox One. So what do you guys think of the new bundle that they've announced?
It's cool. More power to them. They need more ways to sell their system. Yeah, I mean, it's a new. Yep, it's got nothing.
It's a way. It's basically because they're already selling the 1 terabyte Xbox One. It's a way for them to get that controller in people's hands and have them. You know, it's a way for that. I think that's their ulterior motive for it. It's a way for them to get that controller out there and have it, because you know, we may eventually buy that new controller, but the average person who's just buying an Xbox One just for shits and giggles isn't getting that, isn't dropping $150 on that controller just because they don't necessarily see a need to. So that I think that's why they're ultimately putting that bundle together.
Yeah, and for folks who still have the Xbox 360 and they haven't upgraded yet, there's a lot of name recognition that comes along with the Elite, because I mean, when the original Xbox 360 launched, the original one didn't have very much space in it, and then they came out with 2 versions, 3 versions, the Pro, the Elite, and the Arcade. The Arcade was pretty much useless. The Pro was alright, but the Elite was the one that basically everybody wanted. It was the black version. It came with a nice black controller, and this looks a lot like that. It has a name. It has the gaming controllers, so people like the people who had the Elite, I'm sure they were like the COD gamers and Halo gamers, and what a perfect time to launch that, considering Halo 5's just about to come out.
Yeah, that's why they're doing it. They want the controller in people's hands because they're especially with how hard they're pushing Halo 5 to be an esports game. They want people to think Halo Xbox Elite controller and have fun with that. That's what they're doing it for. Not to get not necessarily 2 cell systems. They want to sell systems, but it's not.
Yeah.
That's not.
I mean, if it was just to sell more systems, I mean, they have so many bundles out there that you can get for $350 with like 2 games, an extra controller. I mean, if they just
Yeah,
wanted to
that.
sell more, they're already trying to sell
Oh
more.
yeah, and that's what's driving them to. That's what's going to sell systems for them, not another $500 bundle. With
Yeah,
how
I'm
much
sure it'll
crap.
sell, but
Oh yeah, but with how much crap they took when the initial launch of the system, with it being
yep,
$500 and all that stuff, this is not what uh, the average, the mainstream person is going to look at that and go, "I'm not spending
definitely.
$500 when I can spend $350 over here and get 2 games and all that other stuff." So that's
Yeah,
they're not selling it to the mainstreamer. They're selling it to the esports gamer or to that's who they're selling that to.
yep.
Yeah, they're. I just looked it up right now. They have 8 fall bundles coming out.
There you go. Yeah,
3 of them have released already. You got your Gears bundle, you have your Madden bundle, you have a FIFA bundle, you have a Forza bundle, which is a blue Xbox One. That
that's a
Xbox
beautiful
One's
one.
dope. You got the Halo 5 bundle, which is a Spartan Lock Xbox One. That Xbox One's dope. Then you got the Elite bundle. And then you have a 1 terabyte Master Chief Collection bundle out there also.
Mm,
But like I think what the Elite bundle appeals to is not only the Halo gamer, but like a Call of Duty gamer too.
yep,
You upgrade because the games that I see that Elite bundle being the Elite controller being used most is going to be Call of Duty and it's going to be Halo.
yep.
I'm curious. I really want to use it because like I want to use it in games like Fallout. I want to use a pistol in Fallout and see if I can rapid fire it. I want to play Battlefront and then use an ultra rifle and then see how fast that can shoot. Experiment with it really, and that's what I see it in. But like, as far as marketing is going to go for this, it's definitely going to be there because it doesn't have a game with it. It has a $150 controller with it. That's the only problem I see. Is you kind of have to have the idea that you're going to buy this and you're going to buy a game too with it.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot of just like when the Xbox One originally price dropped to 350. It was a lot of third parties that came out with bundle deals. Like Best Buy had, you could choose any game from the current lineup. GameStop had probably I don't even know what it was. Forza, I think it was Forza 5 and Dead Rising 3. You could choose between those two. So
Yeah,
I
and they had that
mean,
they
it'll
had
be
that
a lot of
Sunset
third
Overdrive.
party stuff, especially coming towards the holiday. I mean, there's no way that that's not going to be bundled with something, because it has to sell, and it's not going to sell when it's sitting next to a $350 console, and and it's just black. I mean, the Elite looks nice, but it's still just black. I think it has a matte finish, but
It's matte black, not
yeah.
just matte black.
Yeah, but I mean, are fingerprints and dust really that big of a deal to spend an extra $150?
No.
The console war is over. The dust battle has been won.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I'll give you that. Although I think the PlayStation already had that fixed with like their gray versions of the console.
Oh yeah, they've already definitely gone to matte as far as
Yeah.
that battle fight.
Yeah.
That battle was waged.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I said, this system is not for the average Joe person. This is for someone who already has it in their mind that they want an Xbox One, and that they want to try the new controller or whatever. That's who that's for. It's not for mom and dad who walk into the store on Black Friday and go, little Timmy wants an Xbox One. I'm gonna spend I can get him this one over here with 2 games, or I can get him this one over here with nothing and spend more money. So that's
And this
not who
really
that's
weird
for.
controller.
Yeah, you So that's not who that's for. With a
He's got a
D-pad that
bug
looks
for a controller that's $150.
exactly. So yeah.
Fix little Timmy.
Yeah, I mean, if like let's say there's a Call of Duty gamer or something that picked up a PS4. I mean, if they're getting a controller, like if they're missing that Xbox controller, I could see them going back and not exchanging their PS4. I'm sure they're happy with it, but getting an Xbox One with that really nice controller and playing their games with that controller that they loved.
Yeah.
I never understood those controllers, honestly.
Shame on you.
The whole scruff thingy with the
Oh
custom
yeah,
and
yeah.
the
I don't understand
paddles
those. No.
and the buttons with the squirkly workilies and the flippity tings.
I
Well,
think
it's
they're
not.
trying to get people to understand them though. Like, there's so many options that you can set. Like, you can fully customize it, and you can save those customizations to the actual. I think it has two different setting,
Well,
profiles
it's
on
got
it.
it's got two different profiles, but then
Yeah.
those each of those have got, I think it's like 10 or 11 different sub profiles. So like you can
Mhm.
have a Call of Duty version, you can have a Halo
Yeah.
version, you can
Switch between games. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just really just to flip and flop between those. So it's not like though they're Microsoft with this controller is trying to get into the esport game, for lack of a better term. They want the Call of Duty teams, they want the way they're pushing Halo to be an esport title. That's who that controller is for.
Yeah.
It's not even for us who play Call of Duty multiplayer. It's at home. It's not competitive. It's for the guys who that is their profession and not a hobby.
Which is really smart too, because like this idea absolutely stems from a guy who went to a Call of Duty tournament. And he's like, everyone's using a scuff Xbox 360 controller. Like, why don't we make one of those for the Xbox One? And then it's Microsoft branded. Like, they
Yep.
can go buy that controller. The way I think of it is like a gaming mouse. Like, I have a Razer Death Adder gaming mouse, and that has software on it to where you can program modules for it, and then you label it as that's what your game's going to use. So like that's what you would do with like your paddle configurations and all that. Like the main example I hear people talk about that isn't a shooter is like Diablo. Diablo, you could set one of the paddles to hit A, B, X, and Y at the same time, so you could fire off all four of your abilities. And then that way, when you're speed running through like a level in Diablo, you can hit all your abilities at the same time, hit all your cooldowns at the same time.
Mhm.
Then you have four paddles, so you have different options. Like you wanted to fire these three buttons, so you hit that paddle. That's another way I've seen it being used. But it's definitely an answer to the tournament scene. Definitely Microsoft trying to get their brand out there, not another brand in the way.
Yeah, they're trying to take that money and or trying to get into that money just because why send it over to Scuff when they're already using our controller anyway? So let's nip that in the bud. And I think it's actually cheaper than a Scuff controller. I haven't done the math on it, but
The Scuff controller is a minimum of $150, but if you were going to get all the features on this, it'd be about $210, and then
Yeah.
that depends on what kind of camo you wanted for it, which could push it even more. I did a lot of it the day that they announced that controller, because I didn't really believe that $150 was a deal. It's a deal.
oh yeah, because
For a guy like me that plays shooters, I definitely want it.
oh yeah, it seems like it seems very cool. When they first announced it, I was excited for. It seems very awesome, and with the trigger stops and being able to adjust your sticks, and it seems like they're trying to make it for fighting games too with that round disc D-pad thing attachment they have on it for, and all that seems very cool. But like I said, it's not for the mainstream.
Yeah,
It's
I
not who
definitely
that's
agree
for.
with you.
Yeah, speaking of Razer, they actually just announced their version of the gaming Xbox One controller, their esports controller. It's called the Razer Wildcat, and the thing I find most interesting about it is it looks like Microsoft is actually selling the rights to their wireless codec, because this seems to be a wireless controller, and we didn't see third-party wireless for the Xbox 360. I don't think ever. So I think it's pretty interesting that not only are they letting other companies use that, but they're letting use it for something that directly competes with what they've probably spent a year putting into this controller. And obviously, it's not going to sell that many because it's for a really niche group of people.
Yeah, it seems like a cool idea, but it's not something. It's not a moneymaker for them. Well, it might be, but it's not. It's not going to sell gangbusters. It's going to sell decent.
Honestly, I'd like to see it in like a Best Buy or a Microsoft store, and you can go in and try it out. Because I'm not sold on it. I mean, I'm sure it has its uses, but I'm not really super hardcore. So I mean, I'm not an esports player.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
not MLG. So I mean, I'd like to be sold on it, and I could see being sold on it at like a retailer. So
Yeah.
I'd be really interested in seeing that just at a I mean, I don't know if it's, I mean, because the parts come off, so I don't know if they can do that, but I'd really like to see that.
Oh man, if they sold more parts for it, as a guy who likes Legos and erector sets,
Oh
here's
man,
the new
that'd be fun.
joystick pack for $10. I'm in. You got gel insoles on those joysticks. What do you got for me? Yeah, I'm sold on that controller, man, because like I've always thought like rapid fires were cool and all that, but like the four programmable paddles is something that I think is the way you innovate on a controller and you make it more like a keyboard and mouse. Like I've always thought those paddles were very cool. It's another idea too. Like this Razer mouse has 2 more buttons on it, so like why put more buttons on a controller when you can have paddles underneath where your hands are lying? Like it's a very smart design, very innovative. Whoever came up with it is a freaking genius. I hope they are swimming in millions and they have a very beautiful family to show.
Yeah, the original controller costed them millions and millions to develop, so I wonder how much this one cost them.
Yeah.
They're probably taking a big loss on this.
Well, I don't know about that because they already had the basic shell and design of the original controller, so they could just iterate on that. You know, how do we make this remappable? How do we make,
That's true.
you know, because they already had the Xbox One and 360 controller in hand. So
Yep.
whoever just went to R&D and said, make this better, make this cooler.
Yeah, and I really like that they've been improving their controller too with these new versions. Like that white version comes with the new triggers and the more responsive thumbsticks. So I mean,
Yeah. Well, I think the new controller you can update wirelessly because I don't know about you guys, but I constantly forget to check to see if my controllers need updates.
yeah, and then I'll check it and it's like, oh, no update. Well, then why am I wasting my time?
Yeah.
They haven't had a controller update since they came out with that new controller that could actually do a wireless update, which I thought was pretty funny. They haven't had one since like March when they tuned the triggers really.
Yeah.
That was all that was left in it.
Titanfall launched, yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll see one like coming out and with the new OS. So.
Definitely with the new.
Probably.
But like, that's super cool, man. You can update a controller. Like, this is the future. Like back on PS2, we'd have to go buy a new controller because the joysticks were tighter for $40, and I was just like, wow, technology. To close out the show, hopefully Lazar gets back to the seats soon. That was the big news story of the week. What I really want to talk about is a Game of the Year candidate that came out this year, and we're not really covering it on our site. Metal Gear Solid 5. None of us have purchased it. None of us. Well, everyone's talking about it in the gaming world for the next 2 weeks until another game comes out. For me personally, I'm a huge fan of Metal Gear. Played all of them. Didn't play 4 because I didn't have a PlayStation 4, but it sounds like I didn't miss much on Hideo Kojima's 4-hour movie. Great game. Ground Zeroes was very cool. I thought the gameplay adjustments they made for it were really cool. But 5, like the features of it that everyone's like praising over, some of these features were in Watch Dogs. Like, people talking about they're building their base and then the multiplayer people come in to invade it. That was in Watch Dogs. Someone could come invade your open world game, and then you had to find them. And then, like, the base building and all that, I've experienced in other games too. And, like, open world stealth espionage, while it's very cool, and the way Kojima does it with his style is really cool, it's something that's been in other games. So, what about Metal Gear doesn't really appeal to you guys? But then, like, the other thing too is, how could we praise this game as being a Game of the Year contender when it takes so much from other games and so much other experiences? Is it because it's doing it so well when it's slowed together?
I think the biggest thing with it is that it seems like a very some of the Let's Plays I've been watching, they seem it seems like a game I'm interested in, and it seems like a game I'll eventually get, but it's not something I'm rushing out to drop $60 on. I will wait until it's a price drop, significant one, till I can get it for 30, $20 or $30 down, 6 months from now. But I think as far as the Game of the Year stuff goes, I think a lot of people are, because it's weighing a lot on the fact that it's Metal Gear, the fact that it's the last Kojima Metal Gear we'll ever see, and that a lot of people are, because I watched a Metal Gear in 5-minute thing off of IGN after watching that, I still don't know what the hell's going on. I can only imagine jumping. I haven't played a Metal Gear game since Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, and it just doesn't. I wish I cared more about this game. I'll get it not for the story, but for the base building, for the the open world, because I'm a sucker for an open world game. But it's not. I'm not. I could care less about Big Boss. I could care less about how this turns into whatever it's going to turn into, and especially now that Kojima's out. The reason I went for those games was because Kojima's fucking nuts and crazy, and those games are a giant anime series, not because they're coherent and make a whole lot of sense, because that's the exact opposite. I don't go to those games to make sense. I go to those games to be like, what, did he write this thing while he was on acid? It's not something I can, that's what I go to those games for, and from what I'm hearing, that this isn't that. The story is few and far between. A Big Boss is, he's voiced by
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, so he's basically the silent protagonist, so he doesn't have a whole lot to say these days. And that's not what I miss David Hayter. He was always a cool voiced character. So I'll wait. I'm just not that interested.
Yeah. So Lazar, to bring you up to speed, what we're talking about is why none of us bought Metal Gear Solid 5 this week. And then since it takes so much from other open world games, and then features like the asynchronous multiplayer where someone can come and invade you and stuff, like that was something I saw in Watch Dogs. The base building is something we've seen in other games where you build a base, like a game like Peace Walker. They had base building in that too. So how could you praise it as a game of your contender when it takes so many features from other games? Is it because it's a very well mashed together? Then the main question is, how come none of us are playing it?
Well, I never really have an issue with other games taking mechanics from one game and making it their own in some kind of way. It's just what you do in game development. Someone creates something really awesome like the invade system, which Demon Souls did in 2009, and then Kojima could have played Demon Souls, loved it, and been like, I would love this in Metal Gear. And so he makes a way for it to work in Metal Gear and make sense. Same thing with people who are like, Black Ops is taking things from Destiny and Titanfall. It's like, yeah, they play those games, they liked them, and they wanted to incorporate that stuff that they liked in it. They don't. Titanfall doesn't own wall running in video games. Destiny doesn't own classes with a one-shot pistol. So that kind of stuff, it happens, and Metal Gear is from what I can tell with all those reviews, done very well. The gameplay is amazing. Story's a bit weak, but the moment-to-moment gameplay is what's really the hook. In terms of what I didn't get it is because I couldn't give a flying fuck about Metal Gear. I've tried to get into the series multiple times because all my friends just constantly rave about Metal Gear. I tried it on PS2. I've even had a PS1 emulator, and I tried the originals. Never played the one on PS3, but just the games don't they don't really just speak to me in terms of the way they're made and designed, and so when Metal Gear 5 was announced, I was like, woo, yay for those people that care about it, but that game is just not for me, and I've accepted this about my life.
Yeah, I'm more interested in the backstory to why this game, above all, led to Kojima and Konami splitting. That's the story I want to know.
I think it's more of just Konami not wanting to do games anymore. I don't think it's based on Kojima and Konami, but I'm more interested to see what Kojima does next more than anything. Is he gonna be a free agent and EA is gonna pitch something, or he's gonna pitch something to EA or Activision or Ubisoft, or is he gonna just open up his own company and kickstart his project like the creators of Mega Man and Castlevania did? Or is he done with game development altogether? Is he sick of it?
Make a movie. He's gonna make a movie on Indiegogo.
No, he
Yeah.
can't make the movie because he'll suck at that. But if I see Kojima on Kickstarter, I will lose a shit ton of respect for him. Because I mean, if he can walk to any publisher and say, "I'm Hideo Kojima, I'd like to make a game," and they will suck his cock.
Yep.
So, it's not there. If he goes to Kickstarter, it's
You go to Microsoft and Sony, and they will throw him bags of cash. They'll roll it.
exactly. He does not need his game to be crowdfunded. I want to see what he's going to make next, and if it's a Metal Gear knockoff, fuck him. I'll never buy another Kojima game. But he needs to come up with something new, and he damn sure better not show up on crowdfunding. That would be a slap in the face to gamers.
Dead or Alive 8.
Reboot Saints Row. Reboot Saints Row. What is your take on gang fighting, and what does your sense of humor do for that? Well, cardboard boxes. God.
And
What do you think? Well, how come you didn't pick up Metal Gear this week?
Oh, I didn't get it because I absolutely hate Japanese culture, and I'm a huge racist. It's proof that 2 bombs wasn't enough. But no, I love the Metal Gear games. I played them a lot, but I just didn't find any reason to get it for $60 right now. Like there's so many things that I'm busy personally, and then I'm busy with my games. I just have a huge backlog. So for me, it's going to be something that I'll get next spring when there's not many things coming out, because I don't want to play it right now. It looks like a great game, but I just don't want to play it right now.
Yeah, it looks like something, as far as an open world and doing stuff over and over again, it looks like something that would appeal to me personally as a gamer. But it's not. It's just not something I have to rush out to buy. I'm stuck. I'm stuck on a game right now. I'm going to be stuck on a game until Fallout 4 comes out, and then that's going to eat up the rest of my year. So, it's just not something I'll wait. Like Jaeger, I'll wait until the spring. I'll wait until next summer, when there's not a whole lot coming out, and I can dump.
Start
$200
my backlog for holiday 2016. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm good with waiting. So
It's funny to me. Like this game gets perfect review scores and stuff, and I don't get it.
Spoiler alert, not winning Gaming Sauce Game of the Year.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Man, good for people that loved this game and adored it and stuff, but I'm just gonna say this: Metal Gear Solid 4 got a 10 out of 10 on a lot of gaming sites. It's the worst one in the series. So, people are really high on it now, but I'm curious to see what are they saying about it in 3 weeks when it's marinated from you. So I'm gonna be honest with you, Arkham Knight was my game of the year, and then after 2 weeks when I thought about it, and I was like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Good Batman story.
I think there's a lot of nostalgia playing into that.
A game of the year, to me, is a game that resonates with you. A game that a month later you're like, man, that was a good game. I felt that game. You know what I mean?
See, for me, it's a game that kind of stands above the rest in what's really a crowded market. As much as games are coming out, not so much now because it's not Christmas season, but to me, Game of the Year is something truly special that not only does something different, but does it in a way that makes it so special. So that's why right now, Until Dawn is my Game of the Year, because, yeah, we have choice-based games from Telltale, and they're pretty much the only ones. But the way that Supermassive Games incorporated storytelling, choices, having those choices matter, having the story change at any single point, really just kind of sets it apart from your typical shooter, your typical RPG. So when I look at Game of the Year and when I think about the games, it's not so much. A game could be amazing and perfect in a reviewer's scale, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a Game of the Year. It just means it's a really frickin' good game, and one that most people probably shouldn't miss out on. But it doesn't mean that it's the all game that is put on the highest pedestal in the industry at the end of the year. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see with Fallout. That's definitely going to be a massive contender. Who knows? Even Star Wars could surprise people and do something really unique with the shooter genre, since it's kind of stale, honestly, when you think about it. You aim down as a reticule, you shoot a guy, and you have abilities, or you have jetpack. It's at the end of the day, you're shooting a dude, and we've been doing that for years and years and years. Um, but yeah, Metal Gear to me, I never understood Metal Gear. It's a stealth-based, game that you can do whatever the hell you want with. But Kojima seems to pour a lot of love into it, and the fans clearly love it, and more power to him. I'm not hating on the game; it's just not for me. But it's clearly an amazing game if it's getting all these crazy high reviews.
Oh yeah, I'm not
So there's
knocking.
no doubt that it's a fantastic title for them.
Yeah, not knocking the quality because Kojima knows how to make a decent game. And from what I hear, as far as Metal Gear Solid 4, the only complaint I've ever heard from people is that they didn't go all the way with that. That he didn't actually have Snake kill himself at the end of that game. But anyway, because that was supposed to be the last Snake.
Damn, spoiler alert to that game. Shout out.
It's how old?
Oh, man.
Time
There's,
to move
there's,
on.
there's a rule to talk about, too, that tangent. How long can I go without telling you a spoiler?
A year.
A day.
It came out in 2009, ladies and gentlemen. Time to move on.
If you didn't beat it day one, you're a pleb, and we don't need you here.
Okay,
That's my
maybe not that
stance.
much, but yeah, so anyway, but not knocking the quality of MGS5. It looks like a beautiful game. It looks like a fun game. It's just not something that I have to knock down and devote the next month and a half of my life to. I can wait, So, and quite frankly, I'd like to see what someone else, because Platinum made a very good Metal Gear game with Rising. So, have someone else put their own take and their own slant on Metal Gear. Have someone else put their hands on it and see what they can come up with. Because you're right, Konami doesn't want to make a game. They can sure publish the crap out of one. Have them put it out and see what else can. Some other eyes and someone else's brain on Metal Gear would probably be interesting to see what happens.
I think Metal Gear is dead until Konami sells off their properties, like a fire sale. Because, doesn't Konami have Castlevania still in a coffin somewhere?
I get it, because he's a vampire.
Well,
He's sleeping right now. Got him.
Metal Gear is going to go join Castlevania in their little coffin. The only reason they're holding on to them is so they can make Metal Gear and Castlevania pachinko machines.
Oh my god, I would so be down for that.
That's what Konami's main business is in Japan.
It's true. They're a game
and everyone says they're top of the line. If you walk into a Japanese casino and you see a Konami pachinko machine, you're on it.
Clearly, The Price is Right needs to move to Japan.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that was the big release this week. Mad Max, I don't think any of us played it either.
Nope.
So I don't really want to talk about that game because we'll come back to that when we talk about games that should have been delayed. Because Mad Max, yeah, you should have been delayed, sir. So
Ubisoft strikes again.
Well, no, not even Ubisoft. It was Warner Brothers.
Oh, was it Warner Brothers?
Studios,
Okay, never mind.
yeah.
You're fired again. Go back to Witcher.
Okay, bye. See ya.
All right, so we've come to the end of our podcast. So what are you guys working on? What do we got coming out on thegamingsauce.com?
The good old gamingsauce.com. So I am currently, I'm writing up my Until Dawn review, which will probably go up during the weekend, and I've delayed it long enough. I'm also working on now Armello, because I got a review code for that gem that was supposed to be, that was in a contender to be a free-to-play PlayStation Plus game, but got beat by Grow Home. And I'm doing a write-up about my most anticipated game of 2015. That's the year we're in. And I think that's it for my front. And I might write something about Disney. I won't review Disney Infinity, but I might do some sort of write-up about my experience with it as a person who had literally no intention of going into a Toys for Life series, and being completely taken back by it and loving it to death. And that's about it for the old editor-in-chief.
Here, Todd, what do you guys got? Anything?
Go ahead, Jaeger.
Oh yeah, well, I've got I pushed off my Forza I guess overview to also include my beta impressions, so that'll be coming out pretty soon. And I mean that beta was glorious, so look forward to that. I've got a few choice things to say about it, and I've also got something in the works about the absolute turd that World of Warcraft has become currently. It's just kind of sitting there. They released 6.2.2, introduced flying to a game that already should have had flying, and yeah, well, I have some things to say about that, so you'll find out.
Man, shots fired.
I love WoW, but oh my god, they need to do something.
Send your complaints to JaegerMitchell@GamingSauce.com. As far as
pipeline to Blizzard, so
let's see. As far as what we're doing in the video content world, I'm kind of just really starting to figure out our legs, and I'm working on a couple of opinion pieces about how everyone seems to be making an open world game because no one else has an original
except
idea.
for BunGen, apparently for the game that was supposed to be open world, but
Yeah, it's the new go-to genre.
Yeah,
We say open world, but is it open world?
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's I'm working on that as far as video, and then as soon as news is relevant and decent again, we'll get something going as far as a daily news snippet, because do you guys really want to hear about Jimmy Kimmel pissing off the internet or any of that crap? I sure as hell don't.
we should have all written articles about that, one each.
about how the
Flood
internet.
the market.
All had our take on it. We could have had a four-way.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
Jimmy
That's what we need.
So yeah, that explains that one right there. And other than that, I don't really, we'll get some something going. I guess I'd have to figure out what. So how about you, Kendrick? What do you, other than your love affair with Destiny, what else you got going on?
Yeah, so besides for Destiny, I will have a piece coming out about NBA 2K's new features coming out. To tease it really quick, there's a physics algorithm that is running toe-tapping technology. Like, oh my god.
Stop the Press is game of the year.
You have no idea. Like the way the player's foot hits it depends on the trajectory that they're going to take to the hoop, and then that can change your dunk. Like, oh my gosh, the different engines that they have running in this game. Like they have an algorithm that's running for the mouth guard. Like, crazy. Because like
Sports ball.
well, it's crazy to me because no one else in sports is doing something like this. Like this
That's
is.
why I want the NFL license to go away from EA so 2K can pick it up.
Yeah, man, because like the things that they're doing with this game, like this is going to be the definitive basketball game for years to come. I
Do they
think.
still have that?
Well, it's the only
Thanksgiving
one
stuff?
since Live is pretty much a joke.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I watched the developer commentary for Live, and they were like, "So we got trick shotting 3.0." I'm just like, okay, thanks.
We got 360 no scopes.
Other than that, I've been trying to decide what should be the next game for my I Miss You series, and it is going to be SSX from Xbox 360 and PS3.
Oh
Because
man.
that game was freaking awesome, and it literally went into an avalanche of nothingness, and everyone forgot.
Ha!
Because
You did it again.
that game is so good, and then the soundtrack for it, the tricks in it, like I wish that game would come back. SSX, what a cool game. Yeah, so that'll be what's coming out. So you can find that all on GamingSauce.com. As far as this podcast goes, if you're watching it on YouTube, thank you for watching. If you're listening, you have found us on iTunes and SoundCloud. As far as audio goes, for now, we're going to have our episodes available for 1 week. So for 1 week, you can download it, you can listen to it, and then it'll rotate, and then it'll keep rotating throughout the week. As the podcast gets bigger and bigger, we'll start looking into archives. You can listen to old shows for now. But for now, it's going to be like how they would treat it, like a radio show. You listen to your radio show for a week, you come back a week later, and then you listen to what's going on the next week. So that's how the Gaming Saucecast is going to go. That's the direction we're going to take it in, and we'll see how you guys think about it. Email us at...
You heard it here first, folks. We are the cereal of gaming podcasts.
Oh man, we're Pun City tonight.
No, you got me thinking about storylines. We can keep thinking. We're gonna have an AR game for our podcast.
Yeah. Go hunt the truth, guys.
Oh wow. Okay.
Hunt the
Good night,
song.
everybody.
Is our email gamingsaucecast@gmail.com?
I believe so.
Yeah.
This is your baby, damn it.
That's our editor-in-chief, ladies and gentlemen. He's our boss.
I know the email to my stuff,
But not anybody else's, because
but not anyone else.
he doesn't need to communicate with anybody at all or anything like that. No.
I do it with my telekinetic Witcher powers.
Oh, yeah. Stop talking, boss.
It will be an interesting week because September 8th, really the only game coming out is Tearaway Unfolded, which I don't think any of us are going to play. So until then, we will see what happens the next week of gaming. Thank you to Todd, Yeager, and Lazar for joining me.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.